Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the Bread Ideas Daily Nugget. I am your host, Trent Dyrsmid, and this is the daily video series where I answer your questions about e-commerce, as well as to give you a look over my shoulder as my team and I steadily grow our business towards our goal of $10 million per year. In today's episode, we are going to answer a question from Aaron Lee, and Aaron's question is, how to do competitor analysis for a brand owner. So I'm actually, Aaron, going to answer this with a little bit of a twist because I want to give you maybe a little bit more than you asked for, and hopefully this will be useful to all of the other people who are watching this video. So what we're going to talk about here is how to prepare to call a brand, which competitor analysis, as you can see, is part of that. So when you send out all the emails, like I talked about a couple of videos ago, and like we covered in the webinar back on the 11th, which I think was probably yesterday, I talked about the fact that you're going to get replies and you're going to have to pick up the phone and you're going to have to call these people and you're going to get told no a lot. You're going to hear, we don't want any more Amazon sellers. You're going to hear it all the time. And that is where your skill and preparation will help you to win more accounts. So now let's talk about preparation. Before you ever pick up the phone to call a brand, especially if you're going to go after the decision maker, which is who you need to talk to, you need to make sure, is this a brand that is even worth my pursuit? Should I be going after them? Things that we consider are, where are they located? Because at some point we want to get some face time after we've won the account, and I don't want to have to fly clear across the country to do that. So if they're too far away, not interested. I'm going to look on their LinkedIn page to see how many employees they have. If they have hundreds of employees, probably not very interested because they're going to simply be too big, and that's going to make it difficult for me to get to the decision maker. And then am I going to be able to locate a phone number? Obviously, can't call them if you can't find a phone number, so that one's usually pretty easy. And can I identify a primary contact on LinkedIn? So that one's not critical because you can always call and ask, but it's nice to see if they have a LinkedIn profile. I also want to determine, do they have MAP? Do they have an online reseller agreement? And have they already set up brand registry, or do they want to? Because if they don't have any of those three things, chances are, even if you could secure the brand, it's not going to be worth it because their price is just going to go and you'll never be able to reorder the stuff. Anyway, I speak from extensive personal experience in that regard. Now, product analysis. I knew I'd get it eventually. You want to make sure that you have a very good look at their product listings. What's good, what's bad, what needs improvement, because those are going to be some of your talking points. And one of the things you might say, if, for example, their pictures suck, you might say, well, I notice you have, 6 or 7 sellers on that listing already. How come none of them ever told you you needed better pictures? How come none of them ever told you that your title doesn't have all the right keywords in it? How come none of them ever told you that your bullet points are weak or thin or non-existent? They're not really doing you any favors, are they? Next thing you want to do is make sure that you're doing this, by the way, in an online meeting using Zoom or something where you can share your screen, because you want to be talking and showing at the same time. Bring up their competitors, the competitors who rank higher than them for the keywords that consumers are most likely to use to try and find those products, especially first-time consumers, because they're not going to search for the brand name. They're going to just search for toothpaste. They're not going to search for Crest toothpaste because if they're searching for Crest, they already know about it. They're a repeat customer. Every brand wants more new customers, so those non-branded keywords are critical. So what do their competitors' listings look like? You should be showing them. And if their competitors ideally have even fewer sellers than they do, yet they're selling more, that lends credence to your argument that fewer sellers will leave you better off, which is a segue to advertising analysis. Any brand that has a truckload of sellers, most likely none of them are spending a dime on advertising, and they should be. But trying to get 20 or 30 sellers to all agree to spend money on advertising is like herding cats. It's nearly impossible. It's one of the big reasons why we convince brands to drastically reduce the number of sellers, because if we're one of those last men standing, as it were, we're going to spend a whole bunch of our money to build their brand by investing in pay-per-click campaigns. So how do you see if there's a campaign going? Easy. Start typing in the keywords into Amazon and look if there's to see if ads show up. Any headline ads, Any sponsored product ads across the top or across the side? If there's none there, guess what? None of their competitors are spending any money on advertising. So then that leads you to the question, hey, Mr. Brand Owner, you've got these 7, 8, 10, 12, 15, 22 sellers. How come none of them are running any ad campaigns for you? Did you know that if you got rid of all them and just used us or had us and a couple of other people, that we would be willing to spend 20, 30, 40% of our gross profits and reinvest those back in advertising campaigns for you? These are the types of things that you need to know and be able to say when you're on the phone with that brand to be able to maximize the chances that you're going to get a yes, which is what we're all after. So thank you very much, Aaron, for submitting the question. If anybody else listening would like to submit a question of your own, go to breadideas.co/asktrent. If you're not yet a member of our tribe, it would behoove you to become one because we publish these videos. You'll get updates on the videos. You'll get notifications of our podcasts that we publish, as well as access to our private Facebook groups. And just go to breadideas.co and become a subscriber. All right, cool. Thanks very much for tuning in. Take care. Bye-bye.